Hell of a way to go out. Hell of a way to go out. Now, of course, let's just get straight to it, Pez.
Okay.
England, India.
Okay, yeah, into it.
England, India. The biggest.
It starts Wednesday.
Yeah, you know. I don't like it when test matches start Wednesday. It feels weird to me.
Mate, don't you think the build-up has felt weird? As in, there's been none. Because there's so much cricket.
There's so much
so
COVID.
Much shit going on. There's the Olympics, there's COVID. Everything's getting silly. We'll get into that. But this is a fucking big series.
This is a big series,
let's not forget.
Especially in the context of what happened 3 months ago.
I was going to say, like this, and I don't think anyone's really talking about this. Like, in the sense that, like this is the square-up series.
Yeah, this is the square-up.
This is a square-up series. For
you're going to make it spin, are you?
For the fucking spitting cobra dust mounds of Ahmedabad. That were an affront to cricket. Well, it wasn't even cricket.
I was affronted.
And frankly, it was an affront to basic notions of civility.
Yes, that's right.
You know, and so, will England, despite all these injuries, we're going to talk about them, and people are missing for good reason, you know, will they make the decks wet? Not to be confused with the band wet. Love is all around.
Love is all around.
You know, I want this series to be seamers, dukes, movement, nibbles, subtlety, not drinks and nibbles, clouds, greenery, the crown, the queen.
Yes.
Prince Philip played first-class cricket or some shit. R.I.P. I suppose.
Big front.
I think he got a game in the 50s or something.
I fucking bet he got a game.
Yeah. Well, you watch the crown, I can see. You know, like R.I.P. I guess. You know, this is a square-up series, and it needs an accompanying level of build-up to which there's been none. Someone's got to say something.
I reckon this is maybe one of the last hurrahs for Broad and Anderson. And I want it symbiotic. I want it overcast. I want tosses, which raise some eyebrows straight away, and then some side mouth stuff. Went, good luck.
Yeah.
And then I want
Craig's going,
Rohit Sharma playing leg side, and he's missed it outside off by about a foot and a half, and then him being like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Can a spinner play, please? No, that's cheating when it spins too much. Exactly. We know that. We know that now. We learned that this year. When it spins too much, that's cheating.
I want equally extreme wickets, but according to English stereotypes.
That's right. Who set the laws of the game. They govern.
And when they do it, that's fine.
That's right.
Because that's within the laws.
We can do whatever we want.
Of the game.
As long as we do it. And we'll get to the Ashes in a moment.
I don't just want Duke's balls. I want deep red Duke's balls.
Like it's a maroon.
Yeah.
It's a maroon and it's a facade.
Yes.
Somehow, I don't know.
I actually want Sky Sports to put a filter on the screen so that it's more overcast.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like usually like in the first test match of like an English summer. Now it's obviously so much later in their summer than usual, but like I like the verdant greens that you see in the outfield, like first
contrast.
Day, first test, and that maroon ball fucking going around corners. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be interesting because this is actually a really big series in that like it's England obviously sensational at home, India the rising superpower if they are not already there, they are very close to it. If they win this series away from home, that's a huge marker down for fucking being just the best team in all formats. And then with the World Cup coming, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like the clutter of white ball cricket just subsiding for a bit. Like I know this shit's going on in the 100 or whatever.
I need my test.
But like I just want it to go away. I just want some shit in white clothes for a while.
Same.
And I want to immerse in one contest between two squads with the verdant green and the filters that you're talking about.
Because I was watching the 100 game, which happened 2 days ago. Was it the London Spirit and Southern Brave? And it was like, because like, this whole thing about the 100... And just the people in the crowd, young people in the crowd, and it's like, but it's like shiny lids now and it's white balls. And that's all good. That serves a purpose in my life, don't get me wrong, but I fucking need my test matches.
Yeah, that's wash over you shit.
I know wash over you shit.
I know that name. I got to go.
Bit of body wash.
Exactly.
A bit of mint green on it.
That's right. Oh, that smells nice.
Oh, lavender.
Great. Phone's ringing.
Who is it? Dad?
No. Starts at Trent Bridge on Wednesday.
Yeah, it does.
So he goes, So Ben Stokes is out.
Yeah, he's out for the summer.
Yeah.
That's a big, just in the context of the series, which is not the most important thing in this context, though. In the context of the series, that's enormous because we know how good a player he is, and also what he does for the rest of that team. Yeah. One player knits and binds that team together so strongly that, in terms of like linking, he makes everyone else better.
He's taken a break to prioritise his mental well-being and to rest his left index finger, which is not fully healed since his return to competitive cricket earlier this month. He's replaced by Craig Overton. He goes, I think, talk about the impact of Stokes on the series in a second, but this bloke's been like, he's been in and out of bubbles for 16 months.
Yep.
Rajasthan, England Test, ODI, T20 squads, Durham in the T20 Blast, Northern Superchargers. He stepped into the England threes the other day when they all got COVID or whatever.
Was cooked as well.
Yeah. His old man passed away last year to getting brain cancer in the final year of his life. Like, I'll go back to Harmison on the show a few weeks ago saying that, like, he wasn't a nuffy for cricket. He was just good at it. And, like, I've got no idea where Stokes is on this spectrum. Not that it really matters, but it doesn't matter how much you love the game. Like, a lot of these players are in, like, you know, lab rat, sterile, relentless hotel wall environments away from family and friends, and it's got to do serious damage. And, like, to me, and so all the best to Ben Stokes, great.
100%.
And I think the ECB have been like that as well, prioritising mental well-being. I hope he recovers. Like, to me, it puts further spotlight on, like, the brutality of fulfilling sporting content and contractual obligations during this pandemic. Like, over here in Australia, Brisbane, a lot of people know that a lot of Australia's in lockdown now because our vaccination rate's a shithouse, and we'll get onto that. But, like, Brisbane went into lockdown, snap lockdown. That's where all the sport's being played at the moment. And so you can cue images of, like, AFL and NRL players milling in airports on Saturday because their games have been cancelled, flying to whatever corner of Australia remains available to play a game in. Because their character's in a TV show and they're legally required to do the TV show. You know, it's like...
We've got you for 22 episodes.
Mate, like, it's there's so much content that top level players of all sports have to keep up with now. They're stretched. Everyone's agreeing to everything because the revenues just have to be taken when they're there, but, like, and to be gobbled up. But the you know, players are at the top end, multi-format or whatever. Like, they can't be expected to keep up. I'm not saying everyone's going to experience mental health issues in relation to it, but it can't be. We can't be surprised,
mate. There's absolutely no coincidence how many people who are having they're pulling out of certain tournaments at different times with the same degree of anxiety that they're experiencing. I'm not sure what Ben's issue actually is, but, like, but people all over the world in all these different sports, but just stick with cricket for a moment. You've even seen with, like, I know, for instance, during the end of last summer, heading into this West Indies series, like Aaron Finch, I think, has spoken about how much he really struggled with the lockdown environment, being away from families and stuff. All these guys who are of an age where they've got young families often, being away from home is one thing, but then being locked in the confines of a hotel room is very different also to even being at home isolating as well. That away from families, the anxiety they would already experience with the exposure of playing professional sport, the scrutiny they experience, and it's like, and now everyone is also at home watching them play their sports, and it's like they want, because a lot of people have said, as a consumer, sport has been a thing that's got me through having to do my own isolation or being away from my friends and family at the same time, and so almost the anxiety as a viewer increases because I want my team to win so bad because I need this so much because I'm going through my own thing at the same time, right? And now you're, like, putting this onto the players as well who are doing their own thing. It's this really unhealthy, toxic environment. And there's no doubt that England's schedule over the past 18 months really, but especially in the last 12 months with how many test matches they're playing, the start of the 100, the World Cup, all this stuff. It's insane, that calendar. And, like, as it goes on, you understand why they have had to rotate their squad so much through that India series, through the New Zealand series, the in India series. And then we're trying to, like, leading into the Ashes, talking about, well, some of these guys are going to be away from home for 4 months and their families might not be able to be out here. Yeah, so it's like, where does, though professional cricket is my job, it's my life, it is my income, where does it actually fit into my life in relation to all these other things? How much do I actually need this, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Interesting, Piers Morgan was able to get into Simone Biles, but didn't seem to apply to Ben Stokes.
That's interesting.
Can't quite work out what that's about.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm not really sure how England cricket team works without Ben Stokes.
Yeah, same.
Like, he's 2 players.
Yeah.
And probably the best in the world.
Yeah.
So is it Butler 6, Curran 7?
Well,
does Dan Lawrence just come in for him?
Well, Wokes
is injured. He's got a bruised heel.
Injured. Okay.
So and then beyond that, Ollie Pope's set to
injured.
Miss.
Yeah.
With a thigh injury per Wisden. Or should we say a grade 3 quadriceps tear?
That's what you should say.
That's the Winnie the Pooh.
He hasn't. He hasn't played since the second. He hasn't played a first class game since the second Test against New Zealand back in early.
Which was only last week. So.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. So I mean that leaves a door for Haseeb Hameed, I suppose, as the spare batter.
Right. Well, and I think there's a lot of people are hoping he ends up becoming one of the openers as well.
Yeah.
So no Stokes, no Wokes, no Archer. Ollie Stone's out for the season.
Yeah.
I think.
Stressies.
Stressies. Badge of honour. Means you bowl quick.
Yeah.
You should be happy.
You should be happy with that. Yeah. Result. Stressies. Result.
Wicket. Yeah. But wet wickets. Wet wickets. Wet wickets and square ups. Bit of nibble. Drinks and nibbles.
There's also, James Anderson is turning 53 later this year.
Yeah.
And all this time
still looks quick in those net videos though.
Well, he's bowling quicker apparently. All this time in and out of lockdown, I'm just saying like for bowlers, when we were talking to Nokia, he was like, I can't bowl 160 or 150 at the moment because I'm just in and out of lockdown all the time. I'm spending so much time in hotels, I just can't bowl that quick. I just wondered, like, with Anderson, he played one test match in 2019, bowled like one spell and then was out for the entire series. Just like at that age, you can be fragile. If they go down a bowler again, I don't know. I think India, the door's open here for India and how much they want it. Of course, they've got their own thing going on. Shubman Gill's obviously going to be replaced by, I think, Agarwal. He's got some shin splints. Yeah. Less of a badge of honour. You got shinnies.
Yeah, you got shins there. It's a bit of long distance running, growing pains.
And someone else.
But Prithvi Shaw won't come in. They'll give it to Agarwal first.
I think it's Agarwal. I think he's same.
I want it so bad.
And Rahane might not be fit. Some talk about that because he missed the warm-up game. I think he's got a hamstring. He's got a string.
He's got a string. Will India be chastened by picking two spinners against New Zealand? Do you think they'll, if it's wet, not to be confused with the band, but
it's
do you think it's going to go Quicks plus Ashwin?
A lot of the time because they just want to pick their best players, and they go less horses, don't they?
Less horses.
They go less horses, India, because they want to play Ashwin. They'll play Jadeja, whose record is obviously incredible, though. You got to get Siraj in that team, I reckon. Yeah. Just as an Australia who's like seen what he has done since he's played for India into that Test side since Australia. I think he's just got to get him to the team. And then who do you drop? Ashwin. Ashwin is an interesting one because he had such a great tour as well away from home. And you're like, well, he's the veteran. He's got 400 Test wickets. Do you drop Ashwin? Fuck, I don't know. He's scoring runs as well down the order.
Would Ashwin let you drop him?
He wouldn't let you drop him. He'd still play, but he's playing with 12, and that's illegal.
And he could do huge damage through his YouTube channel as well.
That's a good point. You got to think about that. But then what are you talking there? Dropping Jadeja, who's averaging 50 with the bat the last couple of years, and
you got fruit picker up in the stands as well. Axar, who's got an absolute stranglehold over your Bairstow, I presume, would come in for Pope. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably why. Bairstow's probably ahead of Haseeb Hameed. Yeah, you're right.
So, they've got a few choices there.
Couple of choices.
They've got a couple of options. I think that
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for England to see how good India are, because I think there's like I get the sense that the rest of the world, especially after the World Test Championship final, are a bit like India aren't. They're still a bit almost there. And I'm just like, from our experience, having watched what happened last summer and then following the IPL properly, looking at the depth of the ODI squad, their second string team in Sri Lanka has obviously got pumped in the strings in the T20 series, but they won the ODIs. And just like, they're fucking here to play, and they're good. I'm actually excited for India to exhibit how good they are, because I don't think England know how good they can be just yet.
I know what you mean though.
And England have a lot to prove.
I'm excited to see whether like English conditions can expose like India's dominance, because there are guys who are on their way up to superstardom, if not already there, like Rishabh. I know Gill's not playing and stuff, but
even like Bumrah, because Bumrah's record in England's not good.
That's what I mean. Like,
and Shami
England conditions ask more questions of you. I mean, the last time India were out there, they lost 4-1, but it was right. Close, it was on a knife edge. Yeah. There was century from Moeen Ali changed the series.
Yeah, that's right.
Wokes did some shit. Stokes did some shit. Yeah. None of those three are there.
Yeah.
So I think India will be hardened and ready, particularly given their last, what they did in their last outing. And I think that they are on a path to ascendancy in Test cricket, and they are probably already there. But this is another one. This is a big building block for them, having they've done Australia. Now they've got this.
Yeah.
But like English conditions, particularly if there's some juice, it's just a completely, it's a very testing environment.
It's hard
as we saw in the Test Championship final with New Zealand. I mean, England with a better side than what they've had before, they can play some good cricket. If Broad and Anderson are on, it's not fucking easy scoring runs. So for me, I want to see how good India are as well.
Yeah, sure,
Because England have players to test you out at that level.
Sure. You look at even the 2019 Ashes series, where I sort of view that series as like Australia fucking pumped England in most of that series.
Yes.
And it was 2-2.
Yeah.
Steve Smith has had one of the greatest away series ever in the history of the game. Australia's bowled performed beautifully. 2-2.
Yeah.
Hard to win.
Mate, England cricket team, as most teams do it at home, like at home level.
Yeah.
As you were saying, like Australia could dominate 75% of that series, but it's like England know the back streets of their own grounds. Like they know how to engineer themselves into positions. Like you might score some runs in the first innings, and then their openers are all of a sudden on fucking 40 or 50 or something. Maybe not.
Scrunching
They actually haven't done that.
No, they haven't done that.
But like they know how to leave balls that are really close to off stump. They've got a lot of advantages and a lot of know-how of how to engineer their way through matches. How to scrunt wickets later on in the day through a little bit of movement or whatever. Crowd get into it. I think it's set up to. It could be a really, really good series. And there's some very good matchups. I mean, still you can't go past just Anderson to Kohli. First day. Yeah. With it doing a bit. That's going to be some good.
Probably the last time we'll see that matchup.
Yeah.
Can't think of the next time they play each other.
Well, Anderson says his career's just getting started.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, Kohli's around the corner. Okay.
Anything else on that series?
No, looking forward to it. We're doing our dailies. We'll put that audio up on Patreon as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Join.
That's right. So that starts on Wednesday, the YouTube dailies, and then the audio on patreon.com/Great Cricketer. If that's how you want to do it, I think this series will actually just be about just showing how good New Zealand are. Although it would have been good if India did win the World Test Championship final, then Kohli would have walked out to all tosses holding the big lollipop.
As is his want.
As is his want.